Monday, Young and the Restless fans. We have got your 2-week spoilers for June 8th through the 19th, including Billy Abbott absolutely fuming over who's now calling the shots at Chancellor. And trust me, he is not going to like it. Plus, Victor Newman drops a bombshell business decision that is going to leave his whole family shook. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. And before we dive into all the drama kicking off June 8th, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You do not want to miss a thing. So kicking things off on Monday, June 8th, Victor is already playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He wants Matt to cozy up to Kane Ashby, get into his inner circle, earn his trust, and then feed every little detail straight back to Victor. The mustache is on a mission, and he has made it crystal clear. With Matt's help, Kane is going down. But Matt is genuinely torn here. He's worried this whole scheme is going to drag him right back to the dark side, and he doesn't want to hurt anyone. Nick is right there with him, sharing those concerns. Matt even raises the question, maybe prison is actually where he belongs. Heavy stuff. But Victor? He doesn't want to hear any of it. It's either play ball or face the charges, plain and simple. Victor's argument is that Matt has amends to make, especially to Nick after getting him hooked on drugs. And Matt knows it. He agrees to Victor's terms but makes it clear he doesn't want to lose his soul again in the process. Once Matt heads off to get settled, Adam shows up and Nick fills him in. Adam is immediately unhappy about Matt being posted up at the Newman ranch with the kids around. And honestly, fair. But Victor assures everyone that Matt will be watched around the clock. Nick thinks the remorse looks real. Victor tells Nick he'll handle the criminal charges as long as Matt holds up his end of the deal. Bottom line, Victor wants Kane out of Genoa City permanently. Adam eventually comes around and gets on board. Nick, though, still not fully sold. He didn't see what Matt did when Nick was unconscious. The guy could have bolted, but instead he stayed and saved Nick's life. Victor makes that point, and it's a valid one. This is Victor's way of testing Matt's loyalty, and we'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, over at Society, Malcolm arrives to meet with Lily, and he's grateful. He thanks her for flying to New York for his procedure, and he thanks Kane for saving his life. Malcolm figures Kane did it mostly for Lily's sake, but Kane sets the record straight. He lost his own father and still carries those regrets, so it was personal for him too. They get a moment to talk while Lily steps away for a call. Then Malcolm goes off to find Holden, and Kane tells Lily that yeah, Malcolm threatened him, but he gets it, and he's not holding it against the man. Kane promises Lily he will never hurt her again. Lily's worried about what Victor's revenge looks like, but here's the big news. Lily tells Kane she wants him to run Chancellor. She'll stay on as owner, but her heart is at Winters, so she wants Kane at the helm of Chancellor. And he agrees to do it. Now, I have a feeling Lily is going to enjoy being the boss here. But Billy Abbott? Oh, he is not going to be a happy camper. More on that in week 2. On the Holden and Claire front, things are getting more serious between them. Claire's moved past her feelings about Audra. She's done with that chapter, and she sees a real future with Holden. She agrees to be his date to the Shadow Room opening, which is going to be a big deal this week. Also, Stephanie drops something on Holden. She tells him about the chief of staff offer she received from the hospital and asks how he'd feel if she stayed in Genoa City. And he is absolutely for it. Cue the hugs, and then Malcolm walks in right in the middle of the moment. Shemore is back on Monday, and she is hitting the ground running. Scenes with Lily, scenes with Holden and Stephanie. It's a full return. Claire finally gets to meet Malcolm, and after she slips away to give the family some space, Stephanie is basically gushing to Malcolm about how she has never seen Holden like this over a woman. Malcolm asks about his son's future and wonders if he'd ever work at Winters. Holden says Devin and Nate wouldn't be on board with that. Malcolm, ever the optimist, says his son will win them over eventually. We'll see. Tuesday, June 9th, Sharon is keeping her distance from Matt, and honestly, who can blame her? She is terrified of the man and the news that Victor is sheltering him at the ranch, wiping his criminal record, and letting him roam freely around town. That is not going to sit well with her at all. Victor's doing what Victor does, prioritizing his agenda over everyone else's feelings. Classic mustache behavior. Noah officially debuts the Genoa City Shadow Room, and it's a big night. Sharon's there toasting to her son's success, and it's a nice moment. Malcolm and Stephanie have a heart-to-heart and clear the air. I'm thinking it's about the whole Holden secret she kept from Malcolm for decades. Then Stephanie joins Malcolm at the Shadow Room launch, and Lily's along for the night too. Sharon greets Malcolm warmly at the door. It's great to see him doing well. Also this week, Matt tells Victor he's ready and wants to know when they're putting the plan into motion. Victor tells him soon, because Victor himself is about to head out of town for the Beyond the Gates crossover event. Wednesday, June 10th, Victoria and Kyle finally make peace with each other, and they get that conversation in at Noah's Shadow Room launch. This is a big social night, and lots of storylines are colliding under one roof. Also, Sienna is absolutely not backing down from Audra. Sienna knows exactly what Audra still feels for Noah, and she is not about to let that slide. Audra and Sienna are going face-to-face right there at the bar at the Shadow Room, with Sally firmly planted at Audra's side. It's giving drama. Meanwhile, Danny shows Christine a completely different side of himself. They're at the launch with Daniel, and it sounds like a genuinely lovely time for those two. Thursday, June 11th, Stephanie confides a secret to Nate. I'm hoping it's nothing as seismic as the whole Holden paternity situation, but with this show you just never know. Nikki steps up for Nick, and they head to an AA meeting together. She is standing by her son, and I love that for them. And then Victor drops his bombshell. He shocks everyone with a massive new business announcement on Thursday, and based on what we know, it sounds like a near-death experience during the BTG crossover might be what pushes him to make this move. A tornado tears through the club, where Victor is speaking at a fundraiser in Maryland. It is full-on life and death. Jack Abbott is there with Kyle and Diane, and Jack comes back looking pretty rough from the whole ordeal. But all the Genoa City crew make it out alive and return home safe. Friday, June 12th, Phyllis calls Summer, and I have to say, is this a hint that we are about to get Phyllis back? Because I am choosing to believe it is. Also this week, Phyllis sits down with Lauren and fills her in on everything that went down with handing Newman back to Victor. Adam has been keeping a very close eye on that as the week wraps up. And Nikki is going to have to face Victor's questions about her health. She's been dealing with those migraines, but now something bigger is coming, something that is going to send her straight to the doctor. The thing is, Nikki doesn't want Victor finding out she's sick, because she is not about to let him reconcile with her out of pity or guilt. That is a woman with her pride intact. Now into the week of June 15th through the 19th, Billy Abbott is going to be bothered and bitter, and that is putting it mildly. Kane running chancellor? Billy is not going to take that lying down. And honestly, I have a feeling Victor would have ripped that promise away from Lily if he had known she was going to hand the keys to Kane. He would never have let that happen. Nikki's health crisis escalates in a serious way. Her vision is now becoming impaired on top of those crushing headaches, and she has to get to a doctor fast. Official spoilers say she's going to engage in some risky behavior as a result of this crisis, and major decisions are coming, and fast. Victor's plan with Matt and Kane finally kicks into high gear. We will see that scheme start to play out in real time. Nick is still in the thick of his addiction recovery, outpatient rehab, meetings, the whole journey. But head writer Josh Griffith has already told us it's going to be a rocky road with some setbacks, so I am absolutely expecting a relapse at some point. And I just have to say, it should be Jack at Nick's side through this, not Matt. Matt does not deserve that redemption arc as much as I adore Roger Howarth as an actor. You know I love him, but that is just where I stand. There's more to uncover about what happened with Diane during that crossover. Jack, Diane, and Kyle were looking very much like a family unit over in Maryland, so it sounds like Jack and Diane are on the path back to each other, and we're going to find out more about how that shook out. Stephanie's secret gets more attention. And the big question, can Matt actually be trusted? So much is coming, and it is going to be a wild 2 weeks in Genoa City. Thank you so much for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts, because you absolutely do not want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.
We will see you next time.